Hey there guys, it's Hobo525 here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite Cobra Kai moments. So essentially, I will be ranking my favorite scenes of the entire show, whether it's an emotional moment, a funny moment, or just an action scene I enjoyed. Pretty much anything from the show can make it on this list. And remember, my thoughts on these moments are just my opinions at the end of the day. So if you disagree with what I have to say, that's perfectly fine. I'm not expecting anyone to agree with me 100% anyways. I also want to mention that there will be heavy spoilers for Season 3 of Cobra Kai in this video. So if you don't want it spoiled, go watch Season 3 and come back. So with all that out of the way, let's begin. Number 10. Hawk breaks Dimitri's arm. Now this moment is not of my favorites because I thought it was satisfying to see Dimitri's arm get broken or that he deserved it. Quite the opposite actually. I put this scene at number 10 due to the emotional reaction I had while watching this part for the first time. Dimitri is one of my favorite characters of the entire show, so seeing him crying in pain after getting his arm broken made me feel so bad. Now if this happened to a character like Kyler, I wouldn't have cared so much, but Dimitri did not deserve this at all. Sam was the one who gathered him and the other Miyagi-Dos to get revenge on Cobra Kai in the first place. I mean, not that I want Sam to get her arm broken, but still. It's even worse when you think about it because his arm was broken by Hawk, his longtime friend, which was a large reason why I hated Hawk in this season, but I digress. This was just a very hard scene to sit through, and every time I watch this episode, I just sit there nervously waiting for this moment. Number 9. Daniel vs. Crease. The Season 3 finale had so many cool moments, and this part was definitely one of them. Seeing Daniel take on Crease was so satisfying to see, especially after watching Karate Kid and Karate Kid Part 3. I mean, Crease treated Daniel and Mr. Miyagi horribly in those films, and if you add the Cobra Kai's breaking into his house to the mix, Crease deserves an ass-kicking from Daniel for sure, and that's exactly what he received. He almost beat Crease to the point of no return. Hell, if Sam and Miguel didn't show up, he probably would have finished him. I mean, Daniel was fired up, which is another reason I really like this part. I don't think we've ever seen Daniel so enraged, and him storming into the dojo to straight up beat the crap out of Crease was so cathartic. It's hard to believe that there are 8 more moments that top this one. Number 8. Hawk vs. Dimitri. This fight may last about 15 seconds, but it is still one hell of a moment. When I first watched the school fight, I was dumbfounded after seeing Dimitri kick Hawk into that trophy case. Mostly because I did not expect it at all. I thought Dimitri was done for, but this just goes to show how clever the writers can be at times. Now, I probably wouldn't have put this on my list if Hawk ended up beating Dimitri, since it's what I expected to happen, so this part ended up subverting my expectations, which I really admired. And it was in a way that adds up too. Dimitri winning against Hawk sounds kind of sketchy since, Hawk had a lot more training, but in this situation, Hawk underestimated Dimitri and was caught off guard after he blocked a couple of his strikes. Hawk also fought some other Miyagi-Dos beforehand, which could have tired him out. This moment really had me hyped up for what was going to happen in Season 3 between these two. I figured Hawk would try and get revenge on Dimitri for sure, which is what happened even if it was a bit too far. But Hawk probably wouldn't have gone to the lengths he did, like breaking his arm, if Dimitri never beat Hawk in the first place. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too much into this. I just feel that this fight definitely created some new tension between Hawk and Dimitri in Season 3, and it was just so satisfying to watch. I've been very interested in this fight ever since I saw it for the first time, so I just had to find a spot for it on this list. Number 7. Robbie vs. Shawn. This fight. Ever since Shawn and his goons beat the crap out of Robbie in the episode Now You're Gonna Pay, I've been waiting for Robbie to get some sweet revenge, and that's exactly what the scene was. Shawn has been harassing Robbie ever since he got to juvie, ganging up on him, taking his pillow, unplugging the computer he was using. It pretty much made Robbie's sentence a living hell. Not that juvie is supposed to be a paradise, but you know what I mean. And after a visit from Crease, Robbie took the strike first lesson to heart and straight up attacked Shawn and made quick work of his friends. After a pretty well choreographed fight, and Robbie getting the upper hand, Two cops came and pinned both the boys to the ground. Now Shawn had such a furious look on his face, while Robbie had such a smug grin. Just a wonderful scene overall, and Robbie throwing around Shawn was so satisfying to the point where I got up and cheered at the TV during this fight. And this experience was also a leading cause to why Robbie joined Cobra Kai after he got out, which is another reason why I like this moment so much. Number 6. Hawk vs. Brooks. Where do I even begin with this entry? I mean, I like this fight for most of the reasons why I like the Robbie vs. Shawn fight. It was good old-fashioned revenge. It was actually quite tough putting both of these scenes in 6 and 7. After watching them for the first time, I was very satisfied to the point where it would be really hard for me to say which one I like more. But after quite a bit of thinking, I have to go with Hawk vs. Brooks. And here's why. Hawk getting revenge on Brooks felt so more gratifying. He was bullied for his lip quite a bit in Season 1 by Kyler and Brooks, and who knows how long this has been going on, while Robbie just didn't have to suffer as much as Hawk did. I mean, Robbie only got bullied for about, a couple weeks to a month, while Hawk, this has probably been going on for his entire life. The point is, Hawk went through so much abuse because of something he could not control, and now he gets a chance to get revenge on one of his tormentors, which is exactly what he did. I mean, he beat Brooks to the point where they couldn't even show us on camera, and we've seen some graphic injuries on the show before. Hawk was truly consumed by Cobra Kai and his rage at this point, and him staring down Kyler while Brooks was crying in the background was so rewarding to see. Speaking of which, I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't Kyler that Hawk was beating up, since he gave Hawk most of the abuse. But Kyler wouldn't have been able to stay in Cobra Kai if it was him, so I don't really mind it anymore. Oh, and I also got up and cheered at my TV while Hawk was annihilating Brooks too. This scene and Robbie vs. Shawn was the only time I've ever done that while watching Season 3. Number 5. Robbie vs. Johnny. Now this was quite an emotional moment. Robbie fighting his own father? I mean, damn, I did not expect that. I mean, I guess it was bound to happen eventually though. Johnny and Robbie's relationship went really downhill in this season, with Johnny missing his visit with him in juvie, that remark he gave blaming Robbie for putting Miguel in the hospital. From his point of view, Johnny was a really bad father, and has been so throughout most of the series and his entire life. So Robbie using all that anger built up in him to fight Johnny, and that whole spiel about Johnny being his worst enemy was a very powerful moment. It felt like something out of Star Wars, and I'm not the only one to make that comparison, by the way. But Robbie really took a dark turn this season, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of that in Season 4. And yeah, I didn't have too much to say about this moment. It was just really good. Number 4. Johnny and Daniel double date. This scene just had to end up on the list somewhere, and it definitely earns its place at number 4. If there's one thing in this series I like about as much as Johnny and Miguel interacting with each other, it's Johnny and Daniel moments. My attention is pretty much glued to scenes with these two together, and this moment is definitely my favorite between the two. So this scene takes place in the Season 2 episode Pulpo, and it's when Daniel takes Amanda out for dinner and dancing. But it happens to be the same place Johnny is taking Carmen for their date. Uh-oh. I just love the reactions of these two when they run into each other for the first time. So Carmen and Amanda hit it off, and her and Daniel end up sitting with Carmen and Johnny. They both take the situation as an opportunity to start making comments to try and one-up each other, and their remarks were pretty funny. And after some more bickering, they make up with each other and agree to have their dojos coexist, which I really enjoyed. Both Johnny and Daniel have really good chemistry with each other, and seeing them become friends was quite satisfying to see. Too bad it was kind of ruined in the next episode, but after watching Season 3's finale, everything will seem to be alright between the two. I'm sure we'll get some nice conflict between them in Season 4 though, considering they are working together to run a dojo, which I would definitely love to see. Number 3. Miguel vs. Kyler. This is for sure my favorite moment of Season 1. For the first 5 episodes of the series, Kyler and his friends have been constantly bullying Miguel, Eli, and Dimitri. I mean, he dumped Pepto-Bismol on his head, beat the crap out of him with a lacrosse stick, and picked on him in the library, so it was high time for Miguel to get some revenge, and after training with Johnny for a few months, that's exactly what he did. Right before the cafeteria fight started, Miguel was standing up for Sam, And when Kyler started pushing Miguel, I was like, oh damn, this is about to get real. Then Miguel blocks Kyler's strikes and things go from 1 to 10 in a matter of seconds. Miguel takes down Kyler and his friends with minimal effort. This scene was 100% satisfying to watch, especially after everything Kyler has put Miguel through in the previous episodes. And in the next episode, we see Miguel make eye contact with Kyler in a hallway, and Kyler has a pretty frightened look on his face, so that was nice to see. Overall, this scene was great, and it was the first moment in the show where I really felt satisfied, so it definitely earned its spot in number 3. Number 2, Miguel yells at Johnny. Holy crap, this is a good moment. It's without a doubt the most heart-wrenching scene of the entire series, and for good reason too. This part starts off with Johnny coming to see Miguel, and at first it looked like Miguel was a bit relieved to see Johnny again, but he slowly starts questioning Johnny because Miguel showed mercy and did exactly what Johnny told him. But he ended up in the hospital with the possibility of never being able to walk again. Miguel starts to lose it. I mean, he starts crying and yelling at him to leave while Johnny has nothing but a guilty look on his face without even making eye contact with Miguel because he thought teaching him to show mercy was the right thing to do, but it ended up almost permanently paralyzing him, and now he is filled with utter shame and sorrow. The acting of both Zabka and Maridueña was so convincing. We've never really seen these emotions from Miguel before, and Maridueña pulled them off so well. Like, he really made this scene, guys, and the fact that a Cobra Kai scene almost made me cry makes this moment so memorable, especially because we haven't seen anything quite like it before. I mean, sure, we've had emotional moments like Tommy's death, but nothing like this. I truly love this scene, and I will never forget the feeling I had when watching it for the first time. Now, before I reveal my number 1 choice, I want to go over some honorable mentions. Alright, so first up we have Daniel and Miguel talk. Now this moment was very satisfying considering the only time Miguel and Daniel have had a verbal interaction before this was in season 1, episode 2, Strike First. That's it. And Miguel didn't even respond when Daniel said something to him. So seeing both of these characters, who never had any proper scenes together, was very refreshing. And I'm glad they were able to bond and talk about Daniel's past with Johnny. Crease vs. Captain. Not telling Crease about Betsy's letters and her death was a pretty douchey move on the captain's part, and Crease's emotional reaction to hearing about what happened to Betsy was pretty well acted, and the captain got exactly what he deserved at the end. That's that. Miguel and Sam saved the tournament. I really like this team up with these two. The speech they gave was very heartwarming and well said. Alright, so that's about it for honorable mentions. All 3 of these moments were pretty good, but just not top 10 list material. So, yeah, let's talk about number 1. Number 1, Miguel and Johnny at the concert. I pretty much knew this would be in the top 3 when I started making this list, and it definitely earns its spot at number 1. I mean, where do I even begin? This season was the darkest out of the 3 for a number of reasons, so having a scene like this to bring out some positive emotions was such a nice treat. I mean, I'm a sucker for Johnny and Miguel scenes, and this is the best one out of the series for me. Miguel was pretty sure that he wouldn't be able to walk again, and to help cheer him up, Johnny takes him to a concert where they have a lot of fun bonding and listening to some good old Dee Snider. I think it's really sweet that Johnny would do this for Miguel after all he's been through. I also loved how genuine Johnny's and Miguel's reactions were when he was tapping his foot. Oh, and Johnny pretending Miguel was a Make-A-Wish kid to get into the concert was pretty funny as well. Overall, this scene really shows how much of a father figure Johnny is to Miguel, and that he will always stick with him no matter what. So that's why this is my favorite moment of Cobra Kai. I just love the mentorship role between Johnny and Miguel so freaking much. Anyways, that's about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video because I'll probably make more of these in the future. And be sure to put down your favorite Cobra Kai moments down in the comments. I'm interested in reading them. But before I go, I do want to thank my artist Tyloha for drawing the avatars for this video. I think they look great and I hope you guys do too. Well, with all that said, Hobo525 out.